Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the show. Tonight we have a good one here. It is the Souza Media 65 with the Next Gen Cup cars at the Pocono Raceway. This is the Checkered Flag Auto Supply Scrambler Series with the Red Light Racing League, and I am, of course, Brett the Jet here in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network, bringing you all the racing action here tonight for 65 laps around the tricky triangle. That's right, we are in the mountains here high up in the Poconos, and with Pocono Raceway looming right here, we will have to see who will be quick time when it comes to qualifying. As you see on the left there, Max Terriot with the quick time so far. We'll see if he can bring that over to qualifying right now as practice wraps on up. As we will wait and see what car hits the racing surface first. And we will jump on over to them. Long laps here tonight at the Pocono Raceway, around, as you saw in those practice times, around 50 seconds. I believe we'll probably see it be a little bit higher, and probably pretty close to 51s if I had to guess, as we see the 01 machine of Richard Murdoch getting up to speed on the backstretch here. So we will look at the 01, see what kind of lap he can do, as of course a very, very long out lap here. So it gives him plenty of time to get this car up to song. What you want is a good run here coming off of turn number 3. So you'll see drivers enter wide on their out lap, try and cut it down low, get on the power nice and early, and then have a big run down one of the longest straightaways here in NASCAR. Murdoch will sail it down into turn number 1. Doesn't quite get the yellow line, but for sure on the bottom side. Looked like a great run off the corner, so this looks like a pretty solid lap here to start. But here's where it can get very tricky right here through this tunnel turn. And this, if you're just an inch off right there, folks, it can spell disaster, as Murdoch gets a big piece of the wall there through the tunnel turn. And it's a game of inches with how much downforce these cars have and what they can handle. You know, you can really drive it in there deep, but you got to be able to, like I said, position that car absolutely perfectly to hit that bottom, or else if you're throwing in there as hard as you can, you know, you'll wash on up and get a piece of that wall. As we take a look here at Max Terriot in the number 42 machine. So Terriot on his first time lap here. Interesting, going way to the high side here. So either he may have found some speed in practice, or getting that thing wound up for this final lap. On the left side of our screen, we can see here the best time so far here tonight in qualifying. Right now, Zach Mitchell in that number 8 machine sits at the top of the board with a nice 53.34. Terriot will get the wall here, and he won't have this lap counted. Yeah, this actually was his first lap, so tough break for the 42, a mistake we don't see that often. Here we take a look at a nice looking car here tonight. It is the turn 3 car, driven by, you guys know his voice, it is Roger Muth. Roger's sailing it down into turn number 1, and you know, we gotta put the camera on him just because this guy came in here, no practice, coming out on a green track straight to qualifying. I mean, that sounds like a recipe for success to have the camera on. Here we go, first time through the tunnel turn. You saw the front end get a little wobbly. trying to test the water, see how much he can handle the downforce. I think got on the brakes a little bit too hard as we see him go through 3 and 4. So gotta give Roger some props here, able to keep this car facing the right direction. Lap number 1. We'll see what kind of time he can do as he looks to cross the stripe. Muth good enough for P number 17. Gonna look for a little bit more speed, but like I said, at least keeping it facing the right direction as Chris Hammett, new time on the top there. And that number 6 machine, as it looks like James Skelton down on pit road. So only one car still did not take a time. And that is the 42 machine, Max Terriot. We'll see what he has in store as about 20 seconds left in qualifying. He's going to use it up to the very end. Will it be good enough? He's got to beat a 53.14. And it looks like he will not do it here, folks. Looks like Terriot only good enough for that P number 7. So the number 6 Ford Mustang machine of Chris Hammett walking away with the pole. So let's head down track side of the Souza Media 65 for, of course, the Celeratus Legal starting lineup. So starting on the pole, leading the field to the green flag, will be the number 6 machine. That is Chris Hammett. To Hammett's outside, starting on the front row. It is the 88 that is piloted by Sean Butler. Then we head back to row number 2, rolling off P number 3 will be the man, and the number 4 Souza Media machine. It is Jeffrey Souza. To his outside will be the 18. That is Trent Potter. Then rounding out the top 5 for the starting grid, that is the 62 machine of Ethan Troutman. Rolling off P number 6 will be the 17 of Tim Combs. Then Max Terriot will find his way on the grid, P number 7. And to his outside will be the 2 machine of Michael Trevarthen. Then rolling off P number 9 will be the number 8 of Zach Mitchell. And rounding out the top 10 will be the 81 of Ken Allen. Rolling off 11th will be Eric Stout in the 12. 12th will be Dalton Williamson in the 61 machine. 13th will be Sean Single in the 11. 14th going to the 13 car of Josh Buckley. Brandon Feeney in the 38 machine will roll off 15th. 16th going to Ryan O'Danny in the 98. William Kirk in the 9 will roll off 17th. 18th going to Roger Muth in the 39 machine. 19th is James Skelton in the 86, with Richard Murdoch in the 01 rolling off 20th. Then the back row belong to the Higgins here. They won't plan to be here, but we'll round out the field as Rob Higgins in the 40 machine will roll off 21st. And 22nd, that is, of course, Bob Higgins in that number 30 machine as we get ready to rock and roll here tonight. As that will do it here tonight for the Celeratus Legal starting lineup. So 65 laps here tonight. That is the distance of the Souza Media 65 here from Pocono. Chris Hammett gonna lead the field to green. Sean Butler making up the front row. So we'll have to see how this will shake on out here tonight, as Pocono, a very kind of tricky place, especially with the downforce of these cars. It can really have drivers race on the edge, but dirty air will be a factor as the field heads off of turn number 4. The iRacing pace car makes the way down the left hand down pit road, and here we go. Chris Hammond on the loud pedal. We go green flag racing for the Souza Media 65. And Sean Butler already sliding into P number 2. First side-by-side will be Souza and Potter as the field will dive it down into turn number 1. Side-by-side through most of the field here. Looks like they will get off of turn number 1 safely as they head to the tricky tunnel turn for the first time here tonight. Top 5 already single filed out. Trevarthen a little bit of a move in front of, I believe that is Eric Stout in the number 12. Yeah, Stout doesn't get a good run off there. Now under fire from Zach Mitchell. Sorry, that was not Stout. That was Ethan Troutman on the inside here in the 62 Ream Machine. Lap number 1 coming to completion here. Chris Hammett leading the way as we will continue to see guys be pretty aggressive here. I believe at the start, while everyone is bunched on up, try and make some moves if they can. If a car in front of them gets tight, try and keep them out on the not preferred line and see if they can make up a handful of spots. As so far, one car very much on the move. That's this number 2 machine up 4 spots in a lap and a half here. So Trevarthen saying it is go time from the start, and he's doing exactly that as he looks to the inside now at Trent Potter. One car a little bit smoked down the front stretch here, just kissing that wall. And you can get away with that here at Pocono for so long because any sort of big wall hit here with the speed you're carrying, not only will you be down on straightaway speed, but the handling will definitely be affected with this. With how much speed and momentum you're carrying around this place, it will definitely break some, let's say, some suspension components on your car. As Sean Butler there getting a little bit loose through the tunnel turn, just got a little too much of that apron there. You want to grab some of it to help the car rotate, but it is a fine line you gotta walk, just like anytime you strap into a race car. Do not get too much, but still be able to push these things to the absolute limit. Last time by, interesting. Taking a look at lap times here. Trent Potter, fastest car on track, best lap of anyone so far here tonight. So Potter kind of turning it up just a little bit to keep, looks like that 2 machine of Trevarthen behind him. But watch out here because that number 4 machine of Jeffrey Souza, he is right there as well. It's in P number 5 here at the moment. A little bit of gap to Max Terry out there running in that 6th position. So everyone single filed on out all the way back here to William Kirk and Josh Buckley here. Kirk in the SpaceX kind of chrome machine right on board with Buckley, of course, in that iconic 13 machine. As it looks like Buckley will be able to defend. As one car very loose out of the travel. That is Danny then. Feeney as well as, here we go. Josh Buckley going around here in 3 and 4. And man, big time hit with the 40 machine of Rob Higgins. That right front, that front end definitely broke on that race car. And that is a tough break for the number 40 machine. It looks like he will at least get it back to pit road. The question is, what kind of repairs can they make to that car? Looks like Buckley, seeming that the car feels halfway decent, so he's going to go stay on track, wait till pit road opens. But out in front, a little bit of a strategy game now. Do you give up some track position, fill these cars up? Because I think we'll be hard pressed to see any drivers use up a set of tires with only 6 laps on them here. As we'll take a look here, see what happened. A little bit of full speed as we'll back it up a little bit further. But yeah, so Kirk running down low, Feeney to the outside, and it looks like Kirk just didn't realize there were 3 wide there. And Buckley kind of getting bounced around like a pinball, stuck in the middle, and then Higgins coming through the smoke. Just kind of car will appear probably if we ride on board with the number 40 machine. So let's try and do that. See what the 40 machine of Rob Higgins saw here riding on board. And I think you'll see a lot of the bumper of that 39 machine of Muth, and then all of a sudden car to the outside as you see already sliding, and then no time to react for the 40. As we take a look here, it looks like a lot of takers here to give up that track position as Sean Butler leads the way down pit road. It looks like about 7 cars staying on out. So I'm really curious as, yeah, we see tires going up on some of these cars. Butler just fuel, but some guys taking 2, some guys taking 4 tires. Man, this is already a big time strategy race here. As it looks like 10 cars stay on out. Then Sean Butler, first car from pit road. And then I believe everyone else at least taking 2 tires. So 2 tires, that is for Tim Combs, Ken Allen, and then 4 tires from Trent Potter on back. So I like this, folks. It is going to be big time strategy race and see which will play out the best. Because now with us clicking off laps under the yellow flag, we're already on lap 7. Still a long distance to go of the Souza Media 65. And how about this, folks? Souza Media coming on board here tonight with the sponsor of the Pocono race. And let me tell you a little bit more about them. Souza Media is a public relations business founded by Kyle Souza in early 2020. Souza Media provides direct management of social media profiles and custom websites for all clients, including high-profile drivers and companies such as NASCAR Wheel and Modifieds Tour Champion Justin Bonsignor, Doug Colby, and Tommy Baldwin. If you're looking to increase traffic to your website or business, contact Souza Media via Facebook. Check out KyleSouza.com or send an email to KyleSouzaMedia@gmail.com. And be sure to reach out to them at any of those places for more information today. As that's some pretty cool stuff, some pretty big name modified drivers on the East Coast. As look at this, folks, lights are out on the iRacing pace car sedan, whatever that thing is, and we are getting ready to go back to green flag here. Long pace laps here at the Pocono Raceway, as you know, a 2-mile speedway. So these drivers will definitely have a lot of time to think about their next moves and their game plans here. As we get through the tunnel turn, head to turn number 3. Probably our favorite turn from Turn 3 Racing Network. And we get ready to try and go back. Green flag racing. First restart of the night coming right up here. Alrighty, here we go, folks. Waiting for the iRacing pace car. Make the hard left-hand turn. There it goes. Now we wait for Chris Hammett. Once again, lean the field to green. Hammett on the loud pedal. He will get a great start over Trevarthen, who now makes up the outside row. Max Terrio right here with a run as well as they go 2x2 into turn number 1. Terrio down low. Trevarthen up top. So Hammett able to get a little bit of time between these guys. Now Trevarthen making the high side kind of work. Oh, one car big time in the wall. That's a 30 machine of Bob Higgins. So he will try and bring that wounded number 30 machine back down pit road in a tough break for both the Higgins boys here tonight, as they will have their races end here way earlier than they hoped. So some slicing and dicing through the field here as everyone tries to figure out who's saving, who's going, who they want to work with. As Chris Hammett out in front to a nice, about a half a second advantage over Trevarthen. Trevarthen able to stay in front of Terrio for that second position. Zach Mitchell running in that fourth position. Then Dalton Williamson rounding out the top 5 here as Williamson drives it in there deep to get to the left rear of Mitchell. But Mitchell should have the run there a little bit higher off of turn number 3. The highest running driver right now with any fresher tires, that is the 17 machine of Tim Combs. Combs with the Ally sponsor here. And the best friend's Ally sponsor car at that, as he currently sits in the top 10 running P number 9 right in front of William Kirk here. As Kirk under fire now from Trent Potter. Potter, the highest running car with 4 fresh tires, as because Tim Combs only right sides under that last pit stop. Man, the last 2 laps have both been the fastest from this number 2 machine. Last time by Trevarthen cracking into the 52-second bracket at 52.94, and it looks like Chris Hammett says, "Oh, you're pushing too hard for me, man. You can have the race lead." So Michael Trevarthen, our new race leader here tonight. Hammett leading the first 11 laps. Now Trevarthen taking on over. We saw from the drop of the green flag, folks, Trevarthen heading to the front. He said it was push time from the start, just based on how he was driving. And he's sitting right where he wants to be, leading the field here tonight in the Souza Media 65 from the Pocono Raceway. And it looks like just a little bit, kind of some packs forming on up here. We got some guys hanging out in the way back, let's say, trying to manage their stuff. You got the guys that came down last time with their tires, trying to take care of their stuff and hoping for a long run. Then you got a little bit of mix of old and new tires. Then you got that kind of this front pack here that Hammett was kind of in front, but Trevarthen towed the rest of the pack up here. So Trevarthen leading the last 2 laps here. He's going to try and race out to over a half a second advantage if he can, because that's right about where the draft starts decreasing in strength here in iRacing. So if I'm Chris Hammett, I'm just trying to just push hard enough to at least keep in the draft so you don't have to push that much harder down the straightaways. As Hammett doing a nice job staying in that buffer zone, as here comes James Skelton. He thought about making a move to the inside of Terriot. Terriot says, no way, not this time, as Zach Mitchell will push the 86 here into turn number 3. As look at this here, folks. Chris Hammett down on the inside, letting cars go. Max Terriot pushing Trevarthen all the way to turn number 1. Trevarthen drives it in there deep. Terriot able to get on the power early as Hammett continues to lose spots, but I think Hammett sitting in a good spot, taking care of his stuff. He's betting that it goes green for a while, as maybe some of the other guys here tonight saying, hey, I think we're going to at least have one more yellow at some point here. As here we go, battle for the race lead. Terriot will go to the low side. Trevarthen up top. Through 3 and 4 they'll come. 42 will wash on up and be clear of the 2. So new race leader here to lap 16. That is Max Terriot leading the charge. Now Trevarthen will go to second. Skelding up into third. Zach Mitchell fourth. Chris Hammett now down to P number 5 and has some more hungry drivers right behind. As Hammett gets out of sorts again, so maybe Hammett isn't saving and maybe just burned up his stuff right away. Zachar almost came around on him there off to turn number 1. Through the tunnel turn, everyone will go for the single file, as you guys can see here, for the most part. As side-by-side racing just inside the top 10 here, as Eric Stout and Brandon Feeney go side-by-side. Stout will fall back into line here. Feeney with the momentum off of turn number 3. Once again, dive it down into turn number 1. Feeney a little bit lower. Stout, though, with a later apex there so he can get a straighter run off, and that seems to work pretty well. I think gained a little bit of time on Feeney in front. But as you can see, a lot of different options, let's say, with turn number 1, depending on how you want to drive it. Turn number 2, though, not so much. You got to either hit that bottom or just time that outside lane just perfectly to not make contact with that wall. As we see here, battle for second. James Skelton side by side with Michael Trevarthen. Trevarthen able to defend here, as Skelton now feeling the pressure from Zach Mitchell. As wow, Dalton Williamson hanging that 61 machine off at turn number 1. These cars looking like they're starting to get loose if you start abusing that right rear with that throttle pedal. So drivers may have to be aware of that, because with these next gen cars, not too much at all side force, let's say, and with that lack of side force, it makes it very hard to catch a spinning race car. As that time off of turn number 1, Williamson definitely got a piece of the wall there, so not as lucky as last time there, as he was just able to miss it, but that time getting much more piece of the wall. You gotta wonder now, how much does this affect the speed of the 61? Already losing the cars in front with, of course, hitting the wall. But how much now does the 38 machine of Brandon Feeney catch him? As one car diving down pit road here. William Kirk down on pit road here on lap 20. So I believe starting our pit cycles here, if I'm not mistaken. So guys with 4 tires just cracking into the top 10 here once again. Trent Potter still hanging on to P number 9, has been here for a minute, and now Jeffrey Souza in the top 10 here with those 4 tires. Tim Combs and Ken Allen still running with those 2 tires in 11th and 12th respectively, and everyone behind some sort of tires or fuel. As the top 8 still have not pitted yet here, as that is looking to change. Max Theriault leading the line to a busy pit road, as everyone that has not pitted yet is down pit road this time. So only one car staying on out. It is Brandon Feeney in this number 38 machine. Feeney electing to do one more lap. Going to try and pick up a bonus point for leading a lap. As it looks like Jeffrey Souza able to get in front of Trent Potter. So when Feeney decides to peel down pit road, that will hand over tonight's race lead to the 4 machine of Jeffrey Souza. As Feeney, it looks like Murdoch both down here, so Murdoch making his second pit stop here tonight, so interesting call. I had to double check that one, so we'll see how that works out. But right now, Jeffrey Souza in this number 4 machine leading the way. So these 8 cars from Souza to Butler last down on lap number 6. I think they're going to try and stretch it if they can to the halfway mark. If I remember correctly, we took the green flag right around lap number 10. So they will have to try and hit around lap 45 or so to try and make it to the end. So a long distance, but these guys able to do 20 laps on the first tank. If they can make it to that 46, they would be sitting in a good spot, but I think they will only actually make it to the 26, but maybe stop it into 3 stops instead of 4. So we'll wait and see how that all shakes on out as we get further in the run, but these guys probably coming down here in about 3 to 4 laps if I had to guess. Of the guys that pitted, Max Theriault, best cars from pit road. He sits about 30 seconds back from Sean Butler. Then as second back from Theriault is James Skelton. Brandon Feeney able to slide into the next car after pitting, so Feeney able to have a little bit shorter stop. He throws himself in the mix. Then Trevarthen made him all the way to Stout, Kirk, and Roger Muth out in front though. They get closer to their pit stop window. Souza out here running some great laps though. Last time by was able to do a 53.21. The guys on brand new tires are down in the 53.2, so everyone about running the same speed here tonight. So it seems like tire wear not going to be the issue. It's all about planning out these pit stops to fill up with that Sunoco race fuel. But you know, Trent Potter hasn't left Souza alone. If Souza makes any mistakes, that 18 machine of Potter will be right there as these guys further on back, still trying to sort themselves out. I believe Ethan Troutman around a handful of cars here. Troutman now up to P number 4. Ken Allen under fire from Ryan O'Danny. O'Danny always has some good looking race cars that definitely pop on the broadcast with that pink and blue machines. And right here as well, that's a number 11 machine of Sean Single. Single having a pretty good run, and then this guy back here, I'm wondering what's going through his mind and the mind of his crew chief. Was able to come down a lap later, top on off for the final time, and then Butler has definitely been running a little bit slower pace, probably saving some fuel. How much fuel he saved, that is the question here, as these guys probably coming down pit road anytime. Yes, they are. Trent Potter, Tim Combs, Ken Allen, Ryan O'Danny, Sean Single, all down on pit road. That only leaves 3 cars out. Jeffrey Souza, Ethan Troutman, Sean Butler, the top 3, still waiting to come down pit road now for their second stop. These guys right here, stop number 2 underway. First stop under the first yellow flag. Second stop under green flag conditions. Everyone's safely to the box. Next, Theriault will go whizzing on by down the front stretch. So it seems like these guys with the tire advantage will be able to maybe just catch onto the back of the pack if they can get up to speed here quickly. As it looks like they mostly will. Some will mix together here as Trent Potter has a bunch of cars up to song right behind him. But now we see the top 3 up, down on pit road as we continue to look at this battle here, folks. This is getting pretty good here. Going to be right outside of the top 5 as you see Hammond shut the door on Potter. Potter gets a little bit loose here. Will drive off at turn number 3. Now Murdoch will have a run on Potter. Potter going to try and see what he can do, but we take a look here. These guys just coming out of pits right in front of these guys, mixing it on up, because here at pit road at Pocono, you know, you just jump right onto the track into turn number 1. Could cause some issues, but luckily everyone hanging on to their stuff. It looks like Potter will be able to defend the spot for Murdoch. Murdoch able to shut the door on Williamson though. So now with everyone about on the same cycle, last pitted lap 20, so we won't see cars till around lap 40. But then those guys that are those 5 laps short, that is going to be the X factor here, because it's 65 laps, not 60. So you can't just split it up into 20 lap increments and call it a day. Here we look at a battle for P number 3. This is Trevarthen on the top in that green and black number 2 machine, and then Zach Mitchell trying to throw on the moves in this number 8 Ford Mustang here. As Mitchell better through that tunnel turn, you saw him make up a ton of time on entry. And that's where you make up time with these next-gen Cup cars, is on entry in the middle right there. Once you get to the straightaways, it's pretty even as we see Mitchell jump out of line here. He has a little bit of momentum. These two will drag race down into turn number 1 as you see Trevarthen able to keep Mitchell at bay even without any help like that. So it shows you how tough it is to pass with guys on a similar strategy. I mean, I think we gotta go look at this Michael Trevarthen looking on back here tonight at our 4th place runner. And I just got to get some appreciation here how close these guys are running. And then don't look too far back here, but back there in 5th, that red car right there in the middle of your screen, that's Jeffrey Souza. Souza on 7-lap newer tires, and you can see just how much faster that Souza media machine is on those tires. And how about this racing, folks? Wow. You saw Mitchell dive it in there deep, have to back out of it right before the apex, but then got it to cut on down when it came time to corner exit. Now through the tunnel turn. Let's see how close this gets. As Trevarthen lost the front end just a little bit, Zach Mitchell won't be clear, still side by side. These guys still duking it out and out in front. Max Terriel clicking on over now past halfway here. So the Souza Media 65 already halfway over. As Trevarthen able to defend from Mitchell. Now here comes Jeffrey Souza on the top side. He will try and bring Chris Hammett along as well. As Hammett almost gets into the wall, they're just trying to get the nose to the outside of Mitchell. Mitchell able to slam the door shut right there at the last second. But now let's see what Souza can do to Trevarthen. These guys only one yellow flag so far here tonight. That first one being on lap number 6. And here we go. Zach Mitchell down on pit road here on 33. I guess he said let's split this one because he was off the pace just a little bit that lap. So interesting call. I'll be really curious to see how this works out for the number 8. Out in front though, we take a look at the number 42 machine. This is Max Terriel on a tear. Of course, Terriel winning last week and the week before. So Terriel trying to go for 3 in a row if he can. As the other guy that has won this season, that's of course the guy sitting here in 2nd place. He won opening night of this series. That was the next gen car at Phoenix. So this guy knows how to get around a next gen car. But I tell you what, Max Terriel has been on a tear. These two definitely in their own zip code. But then you got the different strategy of Jeff Souza. This will be an interesting one to watch. As now Souza inside is 6 seconds back of the race leader. Has gotten up to 3rd and now in some clean air. As man, oh man, some great racing through the field here. But let's run through a mid-race report here tonight and figure out who's running where. Leading the way here tonight is Max Terriel in that 42 machine. James Skelton, like we just got done talking before, running in that runner-up spot, looking to put together a solid night. Then the first guy on an alternate strategy, that is Jeffrey Souza, down on lap 6. Then last time down on 21, has enough to go to the distance. We'll see how it works out. Michael Trevarthen has said it is go mode since the drop of the green flag. Has not stopped pushing inside the top 5 here tonight. Hoping to hang on to that Trent Pot or another one. Very solid here on the Souza strategy. Him and Souza may be the ones to duke it out if their cards fall in the right direction. Richard Murdoch putting together a great run. 2nd biggest mover of the night here, running in this 6th position here. Murdoch hoping to throw one all together here. I know we got some people rooting for him in the YouTube chat lands. Then we head to our pole sitter, leading the field to green. I think burned up his stuff. Run number 1 has done a much better this time with keeping that car underneath him. So Chris Hammett hoping to put this race together here and find some speed towards the end. Then back in P number 8, Eric Stout here has had a quiet but solid start here tonight, up 3 spots from where he started, and so far looking pretty solid on that 20 lap 20 pit stop. Same with the 61 machine of Dalton Williamson. He's hoping to put himself in a good spot right now, running some pretty decent lap times. We saw him flirting with the wall there a little bit, able to still keep that car underneath him, and then rounding out the top 10. That's a 98 machine, Ryan O'Danny. He would love himself a great finish here. As we see our first taker of, or I should say the second taker of the shortstop here tonight. This is the number 6 machine of Chris Hammett. Hammett will slide to his box and get the service done. The other driver that has already stopped that is Zach Mitchell. So both of these guys going to try and split this strategy and then be pitting with the other 40, let's say 7 cars or so. Whoa, James Skelton running by himself, getting a little bit of smoke from kissing the wall there. As we see the 18 machine of Trent Potter now in front of Michael Trevarthen. So Potter back up into P number 4. Trevarthen all over the back bumper, but has the older tires, can't really try and make a move, let's say, too much, because these tires screaming for mercy. Trevarthen going to be down here in the next 2 laps. He's just hoping to pretty much hold on to the draft here, as it looks like Trevarthen coming on down this time, because we see our leaders Max Theriault, James Skelton, and Michael Trevarthen. And Trevarthen hard in the pit wall there. I don't know if he got some help from Murdoch or what, but wow, Trevarthen into the barriers here at Pocono. We're going to take a look at a turn 3 replay here and see what happened as the 2 machine heads down pit road. So Trevarthen gets on down. Yeah, Murdoch doesn't make contact with him. Trevarthen just loses the back end just for a split second and hits those pit barrels. As woo, that is a tough break here, especially during green flag stops. His night will be over. So already here we have 4 cars retired already here at Pocono with only 1 yellow flag. So I gotta give props to Richard Murdoch. He was able to avoid Trevarthen there getting out of control, and not only that, also hit pit road speed and not speed, because you know a lot going on, a lot of distractions, and you're on the absolute edge trying to get that car woed up. So got to give him some props hanging on to that race car. So with the leaders pitting, now Jeffrey Souza will take over the point here. Souza now coming down around the lap, I want to say 47, 48 mark. We'll see what they can really make it. As we get clicked on over, folks, that's right, it is the countdown clock here for the Souza Media 65. 25 laps to go will be shown for Jeffrey Souza. And of course, everyone from now P number 8 last down on lap 27 here. So These guys will be down around 18 to go if you want to keep track at home. While everyone's spread out just a little bit, let's take a look at the Pocono track map. And as you can see, Pocono really is a pretty nice triangle, you know. As you can see here, whoever car we are looking at highlighted in that nice bright green here, of course, looking at the 88 of Sean Butler. So you can kind of see where your favorite driver is at, depending on their car number and kind of the packs we're working with here tonight. So some gaps starting to close just a little bit between these four cars. That being Ethan Troutman, Sean Single, Tim Combs, Ken Allen, and Sean Butler. All these guys closing on it as they try and run their fuel tanks to just about dry here tonight at the Pocono Raceway. I tell you what, folks, I think tonight may be an upset just based on the strategy and how it should shake out from here. I mean, these guys are playing their cards right, will have enough to the finish. As long as they pit inside of 20 laps to go, these guys will make it to the end and won't have to pit again, where everyone else on that has already pitted will have to come down at least one more time. It will be a short pit stop, but still have to spend at least about, it looks like, 45 to 50 seconds in total. You can see James Skelton, Max Terriel, about 32 to 35 seconds. So those guys gonna have to make up 15 seconds in time difference if they want a shot at it with it staying green flag. So looking at our race leader, Jeffrey Souza, as I say that, battle for a third here as Ethan Troutman trying to get around Ryan O'Danny. Troutman will clear O'Danny. Maybe thought about the crossover there, doesn't quite have the run, so Troutman up into the top three here. As if they were to finish like this, O'Danny would be one of the biggest movers here, right with 20 to go. We see Trent Potter, Ryan O'Danny, Sean Single, Tim Combs, Ken Allen, all down on pit road. We see a little bit of brake smoke from Sean Single, locking up some tires, getting it wound up. But these guys trying to have a little bit of tire advantage over Jeffrey Souza, going to pit right with 20 to go. Say we can hit the mark from here. As Souza will probably come in this next time and say, you know, we're 100% good on fuel and maybe even a green-white checkered. So here goes the leaders compared. James Skelton rolling into turn number one. Looks like Trent Potter finally rolling off of pit road, but these guys still, I guess the difference will be this time is, looks like Potter out on track 43. So yeah, looks like the guys that will have to pit again, James Skelton all the way down, will have to make up at least 7 seconds, which is still a lot of time to ask. We see Jeffrey Souza and Ethan Troutman down on pit road, and one car staying on out, trying to stretch as far as he can. It is the 88 machine of Sean Butler. Butler, only car that has not been down since lap number 30. Now we'll come on down pit road nice and safely, so good entry there by Butler. Now James Skelton will take over the point. He has about 2.5 second advantage over Max Theriot. So it goes Skelton, Theriot, then Chris Hammett able to rally back to P number 3. Jeffrey Souza fourth. Zach Mitchell rounding out the top 5. Sean Butler still on pit road, getting that final stop underway. He will get rolling. Looks like we'll probably end up around that P number 9 spot, as that's the gap to Ethan Troutman. So now you can see Pack once again all bunched up, but a few stragglers in there, starting with the number 4 machine of Jeffrey Souza, is good now to the finish on fuel. So we now look at our week 1 winners. James Skelton continuing to lead the way here. So Skelton picking up some points, leading some laps here at the Souza Media 65 at the Pocono Raceway. This is, of course, for the Checkered Flag Auto Supplies Scrambler Series with the Red Light Racing crew. And, of course, we got to thank the other sponsors that make it happen here. That is, of course, Celeratus Legal, the Feeney Call, and Claws Up Charter. And, of course, all the fans tuning on in here each and every week. And I tell you what, I got to give you guys a huge shout out. Last 2 weeks, this series has been the most viewed. And I tell you what, it's all thanks to you guys tuning on in here live, showing your support to your favorite drivers. And it feels awesome to be bringing you the action. Hopefully you're having a great time, because it's only going to get crazier as we get close to 15 laps to go. And half the field still has to make their final stop. Half the field good to go till the end. A little bit further on back, right battle for a top 10 here. Ethan Troutman under fire from the 17 of Tim Combs. Both of these guys around on pit road at the same time, so tires even between the two of them. It just coming down to raw pace here at the end of this one. Zach Mitchell, we saw him duck down pits early in the middle of last stint. Once again, ran it about out this time and will be pushing all the way to the end here. Mitchell hoping to kind of undercut the pit cycle, get some fresh tires, and really be able to push to the end, but he's going to have to make up a lot of time. As you can tell, these cars getting to be a handful out on track. You saw his Skelton there dancing that 86 machine all the way off of turn number 3. So these tires definitely going on these race cars. And last pitted lap 38, so they will be going to about the I want to say 7 to go mark. As here we go, Sean Single, Ken Allen, Eric Stout. Stout a little loose off of turn number 2 there, but able to keep his foot in it. We'll have a little bit of a momentum, so let's ride on board. We got a helmet cam from the number 12 of Eric Stout. And Stout just got around Ken Allen now, has his sights on Sean Single in the 11. Chris Hammett from P number 3 down on pit road for the final time here. As you can see, Stout having a great run off the corner, able to drive right up next to the 11 of Single, and probably will get past him here. As you see, Single now to the rear deck and now behind Eric Stout into the top 10 here once again tonight. So Stout will now try and break that draft, try and drive far enough away that they can't get the draft from his car here. So we see Zach Mitchell all the way back here. He is battling, I believe, with a lap down Bob Higgins. Bob Higgins able to get back out on track. I believe same with the 40 of Rob Higgins. Yes, that's the case. So these guys able to get back on track, gain a couple more points with not having to finish dead last. But you can see just how much time those guys are losing, having to pit Hammett about half a track back. Zach Mitchell way further back, as now we see James Skelton down on pit road. Battle for position here, Trent Potter and Sean Butler. Butler on better tires, about 2 laps newer than Potter and a lot newer than Murdoch, as you see Murdoch go falling like a rock on the right side there. I think Murdoch knows his race isn't with these guys as much. Going to try and let him go as safely as possible with keeping as much speed as possible. So Butler will get on around. Butler in big time push mode, about 6.5 seconds back from Jeff Souza. Does he have enough time? Because this time at the line, Max Theriault will see 2 open palms from the flagman. 10 laps to go here tonight in the Souza Media 65. Theriault will be down pit road in the next 2 laps. Then that hands over the race lead to Jeff Souza, who will have enough fuel to make it to the end. And Sean Butler trying his hardest to reel in this number 4 machine before it's all said and done. You can hear Butler hustling this car around the speedway, using those RPMs to the absolute limit for the downshifting and getting that car to slow on down. As now we see Max Theriault down on pit road. That will hand over tonight's race lead to the number 4 of Jeffrey Souza. Would it be a story? Souza not winning yet this season, could do it here in the mountains of the Poconos. He has about 8.5 more laps to go. As now you gotta wonder, with these guys, how much of a race does it become, with Chris Hammett, as Hammett will go by Theriault. Maybe not quite, these guys coming out right on top of each other. That just shows you that difference right there, as Hammett closes all the way back up to the back bumper of Theriault. So that is as hectic as it can get off of pit road. As contact there off the tunnel turn there. Terrell getting a piece of it and Hammett getting in the back of him. They'll go side by side here through turn number 3, and Hammett able to drive around the 42. But I'm sure this battle is far from over here, folks. As further up here inside the top 5, Ethan Troutman and Tim Combs doing battle. Combs all over the back bumper of the 62 Ream Machine. Troutman hoping to have himself a great night here. As you know, we haven't had a good one of these. You know, everyone's a little spread out, but I think the fans always enjoy it. I always enjoy it. Let's do a little turn 3, turning up here from Pocono before we get to the top 5 to go here. Hopefully that gives you just a scale about how big this place is, because I tell you what, folks, it takes a while to get these race cars around this speedway. As you can just see that with the time it takes for a car to get in shop, but once they get in shop, man, are they hauling the mail. As that time by, Jeffrey Souza sees the one open palm. 5 laps to go here tonight. Souza's lead has shrunken just a little bit though. Butler inside of 6 seconds, about 5.5 back. So Butler running out of time in a hurry. Troutman and Combs still nose to tail. Still Troutman leads the way over Combs. Chris Hammett and Mac Terrell both side by bumper to bumper, as well as we see Terrell now jump out of line. So here we go. Max on the move. We'll get in front of Hammett by the time they sail it into the tunnel turn. Now Souza with the lead he has. We'll see 4 to go. And all Souza wants to see at this point is that Feeney Call white flag. He just wants this race to be over and official with. Doesn't want to think about any sort of green-white checkers and strategies from that. He just wants to see that white flag and know this race is going official. Trent Potter has caught these guys here inside of the top 5 here. So Potter around Combs. Now Potter sets his sights on Troutman for P number 3. As Potter was the one under fire. His pace way off compared to Troutman and Combs. So Troutman now sits in the top 3 here tonight. Souza this time by at the stripe. He will see popsicle sticks up in the air. 2 more laps to go in the Souza Media 65 from Pocono. Like I said, folks, what a story it would be for this Ford team to pick up the first win of the season, lock themselves into these playoffs, then to get a win at the Pocono Raceway. This team would be very pumped up for it. A lap and a half these guys have to go. Of course, further on back, Trent Potter and Tim Combs still nose to tail, maybe trying to work together with a little draft, but seems like for the most part, just follow the leader. As this time by, we see it out here waving. It is the Feeney Call white flag lap here tonight. Jeffrey Souza will be the first car to see it. The Feeney Call car of Brandon Feeney right in front, going to try and stay on the lead lap here, at least get himself a extra lap to race around the track, you know, just in case if anything happens, as we see some close racing here between Sean Single and Ken Allen, as we'll see if Allen can make a move here into turn number 1. It looks like not quite there into the corner. As Potter around Combs, but off of turn number 4, he's going to find the checkered flag for the first time this season. It is Jeffrey Souza picking up the win here at Pocono. Sean Butler with an awesome drive, able to reel in that lead to under 4 seconds. He will bring it home second, and Ethan Troutman, what a race for this guy. He will bring it home third, with Trent Potter fourth, Tim Combs rounding out the top 5. But how about this guy here tonight under the checkered flag, Jeffrey Souza picking up the win. I'm sure he's going to be pumped up. I see that crew already celebrating down on pit road, and I'm sure this guy going to burn it down here on the front stretch when he gets back to it. Off of turn number 3 on the front stretch, he'll woe it on down. And park it for the fans. Give it up for Jeffrey Souza, tonight's winner. And I tell you what, we'll be right back after commercial break. As there we go, Jeffrey Souza burning it down on the front stretch here. Don't forget, folks, after commercial break here tonight, we'll be talking with the top 3. So don't go anywhere if you want to hear some words from Ethan Troutman, Sean Butler, and Jeffrey Souza.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we are back here at the Pocono Raceway, and you can see the icon in the top right of the screen. You already know what that is. It is the Claws Up Charters post-race show, and first we'll be talking to our third place finisher, that being the 62 machine of Ethan Troutman. Ethan, you got a copy? It's Brett Jet in the booth here.
Hey, Brett, how's it going?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself? That was a wild race here tonight, not only because of the racing you guys put on, but also that big time strategy call that determined a lot of fate of drivers here tonight.
Yeah, I kind of just fell into the strategy, really. It was pretty hectic in traffic on the start and the restart. If you're stuck in traffic, there's really nowhere to go. The draft is so strong that if you have a run and pull out to make a move, it gets killed off pretty easily. So I just settled in and kind of ran my fuel long, and I noticed it was getting pretty close. So there at that last run, I started saving a little bit of gas, and I somehow pulled off the podium.
Yeah, that is a awesome run, Ethan. To walk away with a podium here tonight with the kind of racing that was going on. I mean, some great racing throughout the field. You and I believe, I think it was Tim Combs, right? You guys racing for a while around each other.
Yeah, he was honestly pretty instrumental in me making it because having that help behind me, I'm sure it helped him as well. But I was able to actually run fifth gear all the way around the track with that. And once we caught, I believe it was Trent who was running third at the time. Once we caught him, I looked at my fuel. I was about a lap to the good, so I kicked it back into gear and tried to pull away from him, and it worked out.
Yeah, that it did, walking away with P number 3. I mean, that's got to feel pretty good with Pocono not being an easy track. I mean, coming into tonight, how were you feeling about this place?
Honestly, not the best. I actually even reached out to Souza, who ended up winning before the race, asking for some pointers because I know he's great at this car and this track. Because I'm really a rhythm driver, and this is not the track you can really get a rhythm. It's just so big, and the corners are so different. So with the advice he was willing to share, it allowed me to kind of follow his steps. He just did it a little bit better, of course.
Yep, it's hard to beat the master, but I tell you what, I guess that helped definitely paying on off. A third place finish for you here, and with the scrambler aspect of the series, what kind of car would you say are you most drawn to, and what tracks do you have circled on the schedule to hopefully have some more good finishes at?
Car wise, I'm pretty drawn to the truck and Xfinity car. They're pretty different, but they're pretty simple from an approach. Like I've never claimed to be an expert or some kind of genius. I just get in and do what I can do. So those cars are definitely what I feel like I can compete the best in. And as far as what tracks are coming up, Richmond. I like Richmond. We're in the next gen car again there, I believe. So I'm gonna have to holler at Jeff again. But other than that, we've got Dega and the Gen 4 cars coming up, and that's going to be fun.
Yeah, that could be anyone's race with those things. And You got to love the Gen 4 really putting in the driver's hands with that much horsepower. Not a ton of downforce, and it usually puts on some pretty good racing. But here at Pocono, Ethan, walking away with P number 3. I always like to ask, first time talking with someone on the season, what is the sim setup like? What do you got for wheel pedals, and maybe what are you looking at?
I'm still in a basic starter setup. I've been sim racing since 2017. I've just got the old Logitech wheel and pedals clamped to a computer desk, and I'm just sitting in an office chair with a 24-inch monitor.
Wow, man, still on the little 24-inch monitor. We got to get you at least on a bigger screen, if not triples at some point.
Yeah, I think I'll need a bigger room before I get bigger screens. I'm cramped in here, man.
Oh, man, yeah. Size, these sim rigs, take up a lot more space than people think. And I mean, I have a big desk, and yeah, these triples that go across take up the entire thing.
Exactly. I actually do have a second monitor, but my desk is so small I've got it standing up vertically, if that tells you anything.
Oh man, yeah, definitely tight on the space. Well, Ethan, here, congrats on the third place finish. That is awesome. Hopefully, we'll be talking to you again, maybe at Richmond, as you were mentioning before. Looking forward to that one. But before we let you go, wrap up and celebrate a podium finish, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank, either tuning on in at home or on this 62 machine.
Yeah, thanks to you for the broadcast, of course, and the admin team here at Red Light Racing. Again, thank Jeffrey for the advice he gave. It really was instrumental in this performance. Shout out to my number one fan, Mike. He's out there watching, bringing home a podium for him, so I hope he's happy.
Alrighty, awesome stuff, Ethan. Well, go and celebrate here tonight, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Have a good one.
Thanks, you too.
Alrighty, folks, as we'll try and dial up our second place finisher, that being the 88 of Sean Butler. Sean Butler, do you got a copy? It's Brett Jett in the booth here. Looks like no copy from Sean Butler, so we will, I guess, skip Butler for the P number 2 interview and head on down for the Claws Up Charters Victory Lane with Jeffrey Souza. Jeffrey, you got a copy. It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Hey, Brett, I got you. How's things going tonight?
Oh, man, pretty good, but I don't think as good as you. Tell us about this race and how it feels to be down in Victory Lane here at Pocono.
Yeah, this is great. This was one of them on the schedule at the beginning of the season that I circled and said, this is going to be our shot, just like we did Indy with this next gen last year, and did the same thing we did at Indy. We worked out the strategy, got to the track position, and held on to it. And I'm surprised a few more guys didn't do that early stop, but put us in a good position to be able to work the fuel mileage and cut out extra pit stop that they ended up having to make.
Yeah, I tell you what, that call was that kind of a no-brainer once you saw that yellow flag happening at that perfect opportunity there to come on and at least take fuel, if not tires?
Yeah, I've tested yesterday afternoon just trying to see fuel mileage and knew that realistically it was going to be 19 to 20, running decent pace on a full run. And I was able to get to that number that you could make it the 2-stop run instead of having to take 3, and it was just not worth it. So as soon as we got that caution of 5-6 laps into the race, I said we can make it, no problem. On green runs from that point on, actually pushing and not having to save anything. So once we saw that, I said we're pitting, we're taking 4 now, and that's the last time we took left side tires too. So overall, the strategy worked out, fuel mileage worked out, and we don't have to worry about going to COTA next week.
Yeah, that you don't. You pick up the win. That locks you into the playoffs. Take some weight off your back. I bet get to, have a little sigh of relief, but have some excitement with it as well, because it wasn't an easy race for you, even with that different strategy. You know, it marred you back, let's say, mid-pack with the guys that elected to stay on out for multiple, let's say, pit cycles.
Yeah, it was. I was a little scared. I won't lie at the beginning of that run because there were some guys in front of us that we knew didn't have the same pace. Obviously, we're back there 15th or 16th or whatever back in the pack there. So we kind of had to take care of our stuff, not run anybody over. There were some guys in front of us that did either get run over into turn one there. We saw one guy almost take the fence down. We saw a couple guys get the tunnel turn, caught by the tunnel turn fence. So, we had to be patient there. We had to take care of our stuff, but we knew being able to cut out that extra pit stop, that as long as it stayed green, that it looked like it probably would, as it does a lot of times here, we would be able to make up that difference, just kind of taking care of our stuff and making it on fuel. So it was a little bit risky back there, but we all kind of gave each other room and lifted and didn't try to race each other too hard back there, and we were able to finish that race out without not without incident, because there was obviously a few incidents of contact, but without a caution at least. Still there, Brett?
There we go. That would do it. Sorry about that, folks. Like you said, they're going green to the end from that first and only yellow, as that produced a lot of great race and a lot of close quarters and dicing it up.
Yeah, it did, and I'm thankful to these guys out here that we're able to have clean green races like that. A lot of these leagues that you join, or a lot of official racing nowadays, is a lot of people just driving way over their head, and we all make mistakes. I made a mistake last week, got into Josh, and profusely apologized most of the week for doing that. So another apologies to him for that. But otherwise, we're a good group of guys here, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the regular season here, and then to get the playoffs started.
Yeah, I bet. As Jeff, big time congrats from me here in the booth, picking up your first win this season, and I'm sure it means a lot. So we'll let you thank who you got to thank, either on the car watching at home, for this first win of the season.
Yeah, I gotta just thank Brandon Pierce every week. We gotta thank him. He's on that box, helping me out, doing the math for that extra fuel strategy. And we knew around the numbers, but he was able to keep me on cue and having to save a little bit extra on the end of those two runs. So thanks to him, and then thanks to everyone at Triad, Souza Media for not just sponsoring tonight's race, but sponsoring our car every week and helping us get these things out here. And then everyone over there at Stent Analyzer, Ricky Thompson, if you need something on your screen and you don't want it to take up too much resources on your computer, Stent Analyzer has a nice little black box that gives you all that information, fuel mileage, wind, temperature, track temperature, and air temperature, and everything like that. So they're great also. So everyone over there, and then you guys obviously for putting this together every week and giving us a good broadcast to watch after the race.
Alrighty, Jeff. Well, appreciate the kind words there. You, my man, have yourself a great night. Go celebrate in Victory Lane. I'll go get wrapped up in the booth, and we'll join you for the after party.
Therefore, take care, Brett.
Alrighty, you as well, Jeff. That was Jeffrey Souza, tonight's winner here for the Souza Media 65 at Pocono. Let's get things wrapped on up for the Claws Up Charters post-race show here tonight and run through tonight's finishing results. Picking up the win tonight, Jeffrey Souza in the number 4. Sean Butler in the 88 will finish second. Third going to Ethan Troutman in the 62. Finishing P number 4 is the 18 of Trent Potter. Tim Combs in the 17 machine rounds out the top 5. 6 going to the 11 of Sean Single. Then the 81 of Ken Allen finishing 7th. 8th is Max Terriel in the 42. 9th is Chris Hammett. Rounding out the top 10 is the 86 of James Skelton. 11th going to Zach Mitchell in the 8th. Then the 01 of Richard Murdoch finishing 12th. 13th is the 38 of Brandon Feeney. 14th is Dalton Williamson in the 61. Rounding out the top 15 is Eric Stout in the 12. 16th going to Ryan O'Danny in the 98. Then the 30 car of Bob Higgins finishing 17th. 18th going to Rob Higgins in the 40. 19th is William Kirk in the 9. 20th, Michael Trevarthen in the 2. 21st, Roger Muth in the 39. And finishing 22nd here tonight is Josh Buckley in the 13 machine. So once again, got to give a huge shout out to everyone that makes it possible here at the Red Light Racing. That is Checkered Flag, Auto Supply, Celeratus Legal, the Feeney Call, Claws Up Charters, and of course Souza Media here tonight coming on board. Also, if you guys would be awesome, we are partnered up with Premier Setups. That is right, Turn 3 working together with these guys, trying to get their name out there, especially if you're in the market of open setups. But at least you can do, at least check out what they have to offer. Link in the description. They have some pretty cool stuff. It's not just setups, they got some graphic stuff too, so at least check it out with the link. So I've been Brett the Jet with Turn 3 Racing Network. Be sure to tune in to Turn 3 throughout the week, as we have a lot of great series, a lot of great broadcasters, and a lot of great sim racing action. Everyone take care, stay safe, and we'll catch you